Hello, everyone. This is Lloyd Swartz here, coming to you from Albuquerque Auction Addiction here, and want to do a little video today and talk about the obvious elephant in the room at this time, and it is coronavirus, or COVID-19, I believe, as it's called now. We're sort of in a mass public panic with the media and politicians trying to out-grandstand each other, leading to a lot of panic, a lot of confusion. I don't know what to say, guys. Facts are that this particular virus or flu or whatever you want to call it is much less significant than many we've had in recent times. SARS, for instance, where I believe there was 500,000 deaths worldwide. We've only had a few thousand deaths worldwide and 120,000 infections. Things seem to have really spiraled out of control. We can all exercise our non-expert opinion on this, but I certainly don't believe the reaction, closing down entire countries, banning flights, closing down every event, causing trillions and trillions of damages to our economy are probably not worth it, in my personal opinion. Yes, it is true that this virus is a little more communicable. In other words, it does seem to transfer from human to human a little bit easier than some others have. And yes, it is true that the death rate or the mortality rate for those of significant age over 70, particularly with health concerns that can include diabetes or respiratory conditions or autoimmune deficiencies, is higher than some of these others have been. It can be anywhere, depending on the country and different things, 3 to 5%, and your typical flu death rate is about 0.5%. All that being said, we literally have, hundreds of thousands of people that die because of the flu every year. And here we are. No evidence that this is going to happen. Matter of fact, evidence to the contrary in China, and true, they did a wonderful job containing this. But in China, where the worst part of this has happened, it's already almost over. And yet here we are. I mean, just here in Albuquerque, the amount of financial damage is staggering. Worldwide, hundreds of millions of people are going to be laid off, particularly in industries like tourism. And we have to ask ourselves, what damage will that do? How many people will die because of civil unrest, because people aren't able to feed their families, or whatever the case may be? What will that long-term damage be to people's retirements? And, as they say, if it saves one person, it's worth it. Well, but as so often is the case, sometimes we don't save people with these policies. We actually cause more harm than good. And I really think that is where we're at. So my opinions out of the way, and they are my opinions. They are not the company's opinions necessarily. They are my opinions and my opinions only. What can we all do? Well, guys, it's really common sense. Somebody went to Wuhan, China. You might want to be careful. If you see somebody sneezing and wheezing, we might want to take precautions. If you or someone you know is elderly or has underlying conditions like diabetes or respiratory conditions, maybe we need to take precautions and stay away from crowds, stay away from places where we might get infected. I think really, rather than shutting our lives down, destroying our financial future, if we just do some simple things, wash your hands more often, make some smart choices about, let's not close all the public events, but let's look at the infection rate in our area. 10 people in New Mexico, not that many. And let's evaluate on our own, use our own judgment on whether we should go out, go somewhere and do something rather than just blanket closing everything. From the standpoint of what we do, it's kind of interesting. We're one of those few companies that does estate sales totally online. We have for 9 years. we actually got an email from a company that said, hey, we'll let traditional estate sellers rent our software for free due to coronavirus. I thought it was a cute marketing campaign. Of course, that software will not have the capability of our software. But nonetheless, I thought it was a great marketing tip. And the idea is simply the fact that by holding an online estate sale versus on-site, you take all those hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of looky-loos, tire kickers, and we push those online. The only people going to the pickup, I just came from this is Saturday here. It's what time? Almost 2, so we got a pickup just about ready to wrap up. I was there helping for a few hours, and everything was going very smooth. Because it's online and people have already purchased their items, it's a very smooth process. But we've cut those numbers down to maybe 60 people today. If that included tire kickers and shoppers, we had hundreds of people there. So, while it cuts down on impact to the property, it cuts down on theft loss, it also does, in this case, of course, cut down on the threat from coronavirus. So, my auction addiction definitely has an advantage here in this time. We are operating at normal. If you call us for an estate sale, we're going to do it. Our buyers are buying, they're logging in, they're paying. I had no issues at all this week. So, I appreciate, by the way, from our community, I appreciate you guys taking care of business and going about normal and just not hitting the panic button. So, advice, wash your hands more often. If you have things that you've bought at one of our sales and you're not feeling good, do everybody a favor, stay home. If you are someone that is vulnerable to this disease and the disease begins to expand in New Mexico, consider sending somebody else to the pickup to pick your items up. Sorry about the phone ringing there. Just be smart. If you are a potential client, or maybe you are someone that is looking to hire an estate seller for maybe your mother or your father that's moving into assisted living, we call it a senior moving sale. If they are vulnerable, if they're older, we may want to think about some precautions. Of course, the online helps. But we may even want to take it a step further, and we can work with them living in a home. But maybe, while coronavirus is a big problem, maybe we want to have them move out first. Say, okay, you move out, get your items out, get into your other apartment, your facility, wherever you're going, and then let us come in. That will then, of course, reduce the exposure to us, the buyers, but also if they start showing a home. Because again, if your realtor is showing the home, and you've got all these strangers coming in from all over the place, that could be a risk. To be clear, the risk here is for elderly folks and people with serious underlying conditions, and the risk is from a public panic. And the risk is from a financial disaster caused by the panic. These are the 3 areas of risk here. So let's do what we can to be smart, understand the scope, and manage the risk appropriately. So there you go, guys. Coming from an estate sale company, that's all I know, which is probably less than you know. But those are a few tips there at the end, just we can be smart and get through this process, get through this disease as it runs its course over the next few months, and we'll look back on this time and probably laugh about it, and hopefully none of us have loved ones that become a statistic. Obviously, that would be very sad to have a loved one pass away because, the disease facilitated the end of their life. So let's be smart too. Let's not panic, but at the time, let's also be smart, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. And if you like this video, I know my last couple of videos have been out of the lane, so we'll try to do something more about estate sales and tips again or something like that in my next video that I do. But I do appreciate you putting up with me. And if you like what you're hearing and you want to see our videos, especially our walkthroughs of new estates first, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. And you'll get these videos and notifications right away. And always like our videos. It helps us out. And we appreciate your referrals for any estate sale, moving, downsizing sale, business liquidation needs that you, friends, family, loved ones may have. All right, everybody, stay safe in this weird time we're going through, and we'll see you at the auction.